Before that tax return hits your bank account, I'm coming to you with some encouragement to invest in yourself and save before you blow through all of that money. Are you ready? Let's get started. So, I'm tying this to a tax return, but if you're coming into some money before you spend the money, let's think about how we can improve our financial future. And I'm going to go through a few ways, tell a few stories. You can get started on this path by first looking at the numbers, getting an understanding, knowing your net worth, the amount of debt that you're in. And I know it's hard to face, but yeah, you got to look at what are the credit card balances? What are the interest rates? What percentage are you contributing to your 401k? How much money do you have in savings? What goes on in your life when you run into a financial emergency? Do you have to borrow money? Are you struggling? Are you running up your credit cards? Look at all of these things and then think about how you can make a difference going forward if you apply the money from your tax return differently this time around. Even Christmas just passed last month. Did you have enough money put aside for it? These are things we can start thinking about now so that we're prepared. We know Christmas is coming again at the end of this year. So we can make strides to make things easier for ourselves in the long term and in the short term. So, as I already started to touch on, the first suggestion from me is on credit card debt. For the first time since February 2022, the credit card APR has not gone up. It's still at about 25% for your variable rate cards. If you're carrying credit card debt, focus on getting that paid off. Reach out to your credit card company, see if you can get a balance transfer, lower interest rate, do whatever you have to do to eliminate that credit card debt. And what comes next? Of course, an emergency fund, because without that, every time something comes up, what are you going to do? Run yourself right back into debt. Come up with a budget for yourself, know what your expenses are, work to put 3 to 6 months away into a high yield savings account. Why a high yield savings account? Because it has a higher interest rate than your local banks. Right now, the rates where I have money sitting for emergency funds or waiting to be invested is at a minimum 4.35% to 5.1%. So take a look. That's another number that you should be in tune with. If you have money sitting at the bank, what is your interest rate at your bank or credit union? Is it 0.01, 0.015? I'm sure it's something significantly lower, and it should starts with a 4 point something or 5 point something. With the savings account, zero fees or minimums, and it's insured. I don't even have direct deposit linked to my high yield savings account. I have all of the features that I just mentioned, and I know that you can find them too because I have them with Discover Bank, but you can explore other banks that have higher rates. It exists. I am using one right now, and I've gained over $1,000 in 2023 by using these type of things, by using the high yield savings account, by having money in a CD, by using a money market account because the rates are so much higher. Okay, next on the list is your retirement account. Are you contributing to your 401k? Do you have a handle on how much you'll need for retirement? Are you looking at your parents or your grandparents, your older family members? Are you seeing how they're able to maintain their lifestyle? I have a few things I want to share on this topic. I came across a story recently and I'm going to share it with you guys. This is Miss Joyce. Miss Joyce is 77 years old. She worked in retail and customer service. Now she's living on $1,800 a month, which is not enough for her. She's left in a situation where she is totally dependent upon her Social Security. And you see here, they quote her as saying that she wishes she spent more time learning about money when she was younger. Next up, we have Mr. Miller. Mr. Miller is 70 years old. He had no choice to retire because his health was declining, and now he only brings in $1,400 from Social Security. So I'm sharing this because I don't want you to be the 1 in 7 Americans that leave themselves in a situation where they are completely dependent upon Social Security because it's not going to be enough. I know even if I didn't have a mortgage still, between property taxes, oil, electricity, car insurance, all of my bills, 1,400, 1,800, that wouldn't be enough for me. That's why, back to my point, we need to work on saving for retirement. I happen to have all of my retirement accounts at Fidelity. I currently work my full time job. I have a 401k, I have a company match, and I'm going to share some guidelines. Fidelity recently came to my job and spoke to us and had some different sessions. When we were going over this, I was sitting in the room with my coworkers as they were going over some of these points. I was hearing all kinds of laughs, giggles, and gasps, and people were really showing that they are very unprepared. I'm here spreading the word so that we can get on track, you can get on track to do better. I'm giving you encouragement to take care of yourself, to pay yourself first. Fidelity's recommendations. How much should I save for retirement? They suggest you aim for 15%. Pre-tax income each year, which includes your employer match. This is something that you should get on board with doing as soon as possible, as soon as you're working, hopefully before the age of 25. How much do you need to retire? Fidelity's guideline here, 10 times your income by age 67. And they went on to give a more detailed breakdown by age. And I've shared this on a live. By age 30, they recommend that you have 1 times your salary saved for retirement. So just take a look at all of these numbers here and you know where you fall if you're 40 ish, 50 ish. Are you on track to have 10 times your current salary by age 67? These numbers are just a guideline, but get in tune with what you're saving, how much your expenses potentially could be, because, like I shared with Miss Joyce and Mr. Miller's story, take into consideration what do you have saved for retirement, add that to what you could potentially get from Social Security or disability. Is that going to be enough? And the timeline is not always what you expect. Like with Mr. Miller, he didn't plan on retiring. His health was declining. I have family members that ran into the same type of situation. Their health declined. They wind up having to go on disability. Between the economy, different health issues, sometimes you wind up having to retire sooner than you expected. A little bit more on retirement. If you don't work at a company that has a 401k, that has an employer match, you can go and seek out a brokerage company, for example, like Fidelity, and open an IRA and set up an automatic deposit and fund it yourself. If you've gotten this far in the video, I think I'm saying things that might matter to you. So don't feel like it can't be done. Don't be intimidated. Don't turn a blind eye to it because it's important and we need to do better for ourselves and for our children so that we're not in this continual cycle of just struggle and having to rely on our kids to take care of us when we're old, having to be reliant upon the government and just not know how we're going to be able to manage. The recession is still ahead of us. There's no more tax breaks. There's no more stimulus going on right now. Take this opportunity while we're still at the beginning of the year to set some goals for yourself to improve your financial outlook by the end of 2024. And now I'm going to talk a bit about investing. If you are in the position where you're going to make your own investment choices, once you get your retirement account funded, if you're doing it on your own, you have to make an investment choice. And if you can commit to even a small amount, automate your deposit so that you're continuing to build into the plan and make sure that when the money gets there, it's being invested. Explore your options. You might want to go for a target date fund, which would be linked to your potential year of retirement. You can go with ETFs or index funds, which are baskets of stocks that are a great way to give yourself stability, diversification, and not have to take on the responsibility and risk of choosing individual stocks. And once you get started on this path, realize that if it's for retirement, you know what year that is for you. But even if it's not necessarily for retirement, if you're just ready to get on board with some investing, give it a chance. Investing is not an overnight thing. So, I recently put up a poll on my community tab asking the question, how long do you plan to keep your money invested? And these are the results. And this is what I was glad to see 3 to 10 years, 10 years plus. So, I guess what I'm trying to say here is I don't want you to overinvest because I want your money to be able to grow. At a minimum, these are the type of years that I'm asking you to commit to investing. Before I wrap up this video, I'm going to share something that I'm going to do differently this year. I'm not expecting to get a tax refund, but I am expecting a bonus at the end of this quarter. So, what I'm going to do with that is go through my HR department to add a percentage of my bonus to my 401k directly. Just the way that I'm going to pay myself first. And then I'm also going to do a little investing into my own taxable accounts because your girl is striving for early retirement. So I'm building up my growth portfolio, started to put some work over the last year into starting a dividend portfolio. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it was some food for thought. If you're going to be coming into any extra money, or if you could start to adjust your budget to free up some money, what can you do differently to improve your financial future in 2024? I don't want any of us to have more credit card debt than we have in our savings account or our investment account. So if you're not already, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Don't forget to leave me a like and a comment. Thanks for watching. Okay, bye.